I hope I can have about a quick panel, a short question and answer session right now, because we are at the end of our conference. But what is more important, I want to give a little bit of a scenario here. We have Dr. Faridah that talks about the whole research about what it takes for the halal ecosystem to have a better integration, right? Because everybody is in its own world of how you see the halal community is going and how the halal process is being developed and how people lived with the fact that they have already got their halal certification, how they move on to the next level, right? Now, we also have Dr. Billy here, who has been involved in the humanitarian social enterprise that helps the people to go beyond than just product. It's about giving people a livelihood, people giving an economy for people to brand themselves as the people who want to save the earth, the people who are bringing about the true meaning about what it takes for us to come down to a reality regarding how to bring in the true meaning of the SDGs. And we have Dr. Zeiad to talk about how successful entrepreneurs has able to leverage going global, because there is technology, there is a way on how to look at the community development with the latest branding on how it makes the movement of the product goes into and penetrate into the global community. Now, the question is, I'm going to go one by one. I want it will be a one question session for each panel. So the first question here, Dr. Faridah, I want to bring up the fact that when there are so many commissions, there are so many people, scholars, and so on, that understood the meaning of halal. And people have been defining the meaning of halal in the correct way and using the phrases of the Al-Quran. Yeah? And we know that the true understanding is to bring out the true value of the business, whether you're in the food business, whether you're in the production business of delivering something good to the community, and where you are, if it's involved in animals, so you got to have the proper hygienic way to handle. So it's the consumers, what I call customer, that it's at the end of the day is to deliver something good for them. Now, I just want to give you an example about the Japanese. The Japanese, they are very good at giving values, and they are the one who understood the true meaning of halal, because at the end of the day, it's about the consumer, bringing back the value to the consumer. We, as the project manager of that particular product, is to ensure whatever competency that you have is to deliver that value. It's the value of what the meaning of halal is, not so much as to go on the certification, and yet the community cannot embrace the true meaning of why you're having this. So, Dr. Freda, just give me your 3 minutes comments on this.
All right. Thank you, Dr. NorSaidatul. I would like to pick up what you mentioned just now about the Japanese, which is very interesting, Dr. No. Number one, I'm sure you have come across this passing remark like the Japanese are even more Islamic than the Muslims are, So what I'm trying to stress over here is that it is their culture, it is a guideline that they have been practicing since young, since their forefathers. And in halal, I feel that the halal guidelines itself actually, in particular, that requires all the products to be halal certified and must be produced in a hygiene and humane environment is a key, or I would say is the essence of all this halal business. So we talk about ethical consumerism that also strictly emphasizes the importance of hygiene in the production and manufacturing process. So all along that when we talk about certification just now, we are actually emphasizing on the processed food. So without the processed food, I think we are much safer, like in those days. So coming back to all these issues of our conference on ethics, I would say it is important, it is essential for beneficial Muslim to develop the beneficial Muslim conduct and also character as commanded in our religion. And the reason why it is significant is that actually it is ethics that influence economics and not vice versa, because we're talking about business. It is our ethical practices, good or bad or right or wrong, that influence our economics or our business. So I think these are the things that our Muslims should recognize. Their like what you mentioned just now, when they are wealthy, they are greedy. So they should recognize that wealth, their earnings, and their material goods are actually not theirs. It is property of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and humans are merely his trustees. So this is actually the argument that is actually the climate of many of Islamic philosophy and scholars. You can discuss until the cows call, till the cows come home. But actually, whatever that we do, we have to come back to our principles. So in business ethics, in the perspective of Islamic economics, must be emphasized from the very beginning. So I think that may have taken 3 minutes, Dr. No, I'm not too sure. All back to
Thank
you,
you so
Dr.
much.
No?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Faridah.
Yeah,
Yes, I know that a lot of the understanding about learning about a subject matter is to embrace it,
agree.
right? To embrace it, and of course, to contribute back, right? Now,
Very true.
this is what we want to know, that when we talk about projects, right? Now, many people, I know a lot of people who are selling products, they start to sell halal products as a product. But when we talk about project, it's bigger than a product. Because in a project, there is product, process, people, planet, prosperity.
Yep.
Now, that under the component of sustainability, it brings a much more bigger player to understand the beneficiary of the products, right? So here, Dr. Billy, I just want to share with you, all right, or ask you the fact that you have been involved in projects where you bring in the community, right? Whether you bring in a product coming from Luzon University, all right, from Philippines, and now you're working with the community of the disabled group, right? And you also have yourself being the sustainable leader to talk about the true meaning of the economy, the social impact, and the economic impact. Now, this is what I meant. Once people have got everything inside their, ingredients of what they believe they have on their plate, but focusing on one project at a time with that true essence of that, what they call halal toyiban concept of the totality of bringing the value, not just one value, not just the product value, the totality of the two values. So how do you find your smart farmability has able to contribute that? Just give you a word of 3 minutes of words of advice. Muted. Open up. Dr. Billy, open up. You're muted.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah, number one, we are very, the first part of our struggle was we go for accreditation. I mean, who endorses us that we are farming ethically, making safe and nutritious food accessible to all economic background. So we put ourselves out there. So happened my school alumni nominated me for the Star Golden Heart Award and the Yayasan Gamuda Inspiration Award. So it's a whole process. During the pandemic, there are, I think, 500 over, 600 over nomination. So the good news is that we emerged the winner, the number one, the one pick. So they send their representative here and interview us, how we do our process, how ethical is our farming methods. And to my surprise, we have all the elements, but we just do not know how to tell the story. So now, of course, with Dr. No on board, our what we have been practicing now become our livelihood, because there's a framework that all that we have been practicing for ethical farming, bringing safe and nutritious food, is not just highly processed, it's ultra processed now. It's ultra processed in our food. We are going nowhere. And now we need to widen the genetic base of what we eat in our food chain, because all are very narrow now, based on the GMO. So we have our own biodiversity. The Orang Asli, or the indigenous people are showing us how to use some of these herbs that we have, now making it into household, feeding them, elevating into their daily food. Like research they've done, like daun gado, ulam raja, all these are anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory. And once the soil is fixed, it just regenerates. And we have Professor Dr. G.P. Dorisami, who is our senior legal advisor, consultant, is a qualified Sharia lawyer of International Islamic University. He advocates on halal and Sharia compliance at all times. And our WHB founder chairman is Honorary Dr. Abdul Basit Said, based at London, UK, who is actively promoting PWD smart farmability at the global level. And as you can see, I have this. This is by the late Queen Elizabeth II. I'm one of the 8 awardees nominated by a Muslim NGO in London. Can you imagine? So we are not alone in this. They are remnants, okay, that only God in His right time connect us and make it much clearer that people want pure, real food. And the only way halal will pops up, Sharia will pops up. No longer in perception of religion, or it is, people want it. People want it. It's a branding that aligns with Muslim choice. Oh, I want the Muslim choice because it's traceable. 100% of our input must be traceable. So when I challenge agriculture farmers, okay, you say you are organic. I know there's no organic in this country unless you got a greenhouse. And all our greenhouse in this country are not greenhouse. If there's a real greenhouse, it must be a double wall. And rats and rodents cannot go in. All our greenhouses in Malaysia, all the rodents can go in one. Okay, and what happened is that we don't call it greenhouse, we call it rain shelter. Okay, I give them a new term call it rain shelter. And environment toxin is not talked about. All right, and the worst is this: we are addressing mosquitoes, Aedes mosquito, and the municipal comes once or twice a week. And what are they fogging? They are fogging diesel that will imbalance all your garden farming at home. And so it's all counterintuitive at this moment. But again, I want to repeat, in this crisis, that's where the disabled community can shine and bring to the table. You can still access safe and nutritious food from our community, because we want of our advocacy of ethical farming, making safe, nutritious food accessible to all economic background. So input costs will spring up the prices. For example, now fish. You want fish, but you are buying fish feed, and the fish feed, the base material is soybean. So it's GMO again. So what do? So we go back to plant-based. Our fish is vegan, by the way. Our fish is vegan. They're eating daun gado, they're eating ulam raja. There's a way to trick them to eat. Because why? We are no longer what we eat. We are what our food is eating. If your fish is eating antibiotic and hormone, you are downing it. You are downing it. And the good fish, is all export. And we are importing injected with chemical fishes now, because our money has shrunk and we cannot buy quality food. And we are paying higher for lower quality food and feeding our citizens. And we are, our importation bill. All right. So, and 3 years, because all the agriculture ministry are working in silo. All right, so we will never address the food security issue because all working in silo. Okay, and our policy is still chemical farming, so no point debating over this. We just feed the poor, empower them to continuously feed themselves. Therefore, we are decentralizing our agri-innovation that firstly, their family can survive, and we are transforming their life. They're eating healthier without being a farmer, and it's unrefrigerated, you know, and this is how we have multiple proof of concept to address these challenging issues. But if you give equal opportunity to the disabled community, we can still contribute to nation building. Thank you very much.
Dr. Billy, you are an encyclopedia of regenerative learning. I know there's a lot of words and jargon words that you use because you are the encyclopedia. All right. So there's a lot of things that that I know that you do is because you have divided what I call undividedly bring out a lot of your talent, your interest, your passion, and everything that you know about giving back. So giving back is something that what makes you what you are right now. No one will ever award anyone just because of a halal certification. It's nothing. Anyone who wants to give you an award because you are giving back a lot of things to the community which no one is doing. So that's why even the Queen Elizabeth is the late Queen Elizabeth is giving you and all the community. And I know that is what makes you different from the rest. All right. Not about you being talented as having the skill of doing what you want to do, but more than that, right? So I have Dr. Elvina trying to raise a hand. But before Elvina, before I let you open, I will ask the permission of the organizer to extend this panel discussion because I know we haven't bring out another speaker to answer one of my very important questions for this panel. Yeah. So hang on to that. One of the most important questions which I want to ask Dr. Zeiad is this. You know, you talk about the globalization. You talk about the penetration of where people are following up the lifestyle of many people. Now, halal and lifestyle go all along together. All right? It is not something that it doesn't bring the togetherness. It's like the risk management is in the halal. If you manage the risk, you got to get the value management of it. That's why halal bloom because of the values once you manage the risks. So risk management and value management is what makes the product, whether you call it the brand, whether you call it the what I call the strategy of going to globalization, is because this has been taken into consideration in a very long term. That's why I call it sustainable way on how you bring the halal positioning with the lifestyle. Now, my question is, how do you find the entrepreneurs today? Well, the fact that yes, they have technology. Yes, they know how to reach the global market. They have all the international payment gateway. But the true meaning of what we want to talk about today is the ethical practices of doing business, even though you are in a globalization. All right. Now, how do you help to make sure entrepreneurship and values is hand in hand, bringing back the balances of what is missing right now in the whole world, globalization, as people are creating imbalances, be it for social imbalances, the planet imbalances, and the economic imbalances. How does one should behave? So I let you answer this question.
Thank you, Doctor, for very good and very important question. For me, I always focus on this, the gap. I consider this one gap. In order to maintain, or in order to be sure that our product that we consume, either food or non-food products, as well as services, the main weapon that I can fight the people who against this one, I mean, against the honesty, against the quality, against the value, is the awareness of the customers. If we have high awareness customers, So they will be the best auditors for the products. The government cannot provide auditors for all the country, all around the country. They cannot monitor all restaurants. They cannot monitor all cosmetics factories. But the customers, the consumers, they can do this one. How can we enable them to be a good auditor? We should improve their awareness. Once we found, if you look to any country, if the level of education is high in a specific country, definitely you will find majority of their materials with high quality, because the people who monitor the product have good awareness about when they want to purchase $1, they want $1, I mean, or a few dollars, they want to get at the same balance of this $3 or $4, the quality will be should align with this $4. They cannot pay $4 and then they will get material with which is cost $1. So the most important thing is the awareness of the people, and also the support of the government. The government have also one of the main role, which is to improve the awareness of the people. Yani I can force the customers indirectly. I can force them to get extra awareness, to get more awareness. Many procedures, bulletins, media, or when we establish these halal centers. Now, if you look to Brunei, I am now in Brunei 6 years. I am in my seventh year here in Brunei. When I talk with the Bruneian, when I do shopping, when I do anything, I found that the Bruneian now have good awareness because we already penetrate many students. You know, Brunei is a small country and small citizen. The first batch of our bachelor degree was 84. 84 students. When you penetrate them in the society, there should be significant impact on improving the awareness. I always told the students, don't keep your knowledge in this box. Allah will punish you. If you want to make zakat for your money, you need to pay money. There is a specific cost for every 1 million, Mazelan, this one. If you want to make zakat for your knowledge, share this knowledge with the people. So Allah will upload extra 10 times of the thing that, or the knowledge that you get. So the main factor is how to improve the awareness. When Brunei want to be, Negara Brunei Darussalam want to be a global halal hub in 2035, so the wisdom of His Majesty recognize that he should come out, Brunei should come out with halal center, because he need to share or to spread the knowledge, spread the awareness. Then it will be easily for the country to catch this or to achieve this objective. This is in my point of view.
Thank you, Dr. Zeiad. Very relevant, right?
Yeah.
The community,
Thank you very much.
The community must itself assess, assess the quality of it. So I do agree in the sense that when everyone will have different sets of ingredients on how they believe they want to develop their product. But when example of, let's say you have a salad, you call it roja, and we have different types of roja and salad. But what makes the salad get binded together is the sauce. Now, if the sauce is not good enough, people won't come and repeatedly buy from you because it's only a one-time sauce. Now, halal is like that. It's a sauce. If the sauce is what you're supposed to say as the true value of binding everything together, people will come back to you because you have the right sauce to blend everything. But if that is not given the understanding about whether the sauce is halal to blind everything, and it's only to go for the greediness, to go for the selfishness, to go for your own personal purpose, and not for the humanitarian, and not for the ecosystem, therefore the sauce will not play its role. The halal meaning will not play its role, right? So I think the most important element is that all of the great speakers here today touches a lot of things about what is the true meaning of halal in its own context. Everybody is passionate about the work, passionate about the the activity that you do and the knowledge that you have. You're
Dr. Faridah,
rightly
sorry.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, you're rightly saying, whatever you
Yeah,
acquire in
yeah.
knowledge is a gift from Allah. If you contribute it back and share it back with the community get enhances through your sedekah of knowledge, which is very true in what it is that we want to do. Halal is not just a scholarly, what I call qualification. It is a knowledge of the community. So
No.
if the community get that knowledge, we don't need even a certification, because
No.
the certification is endorsed by the society. But if people don't understand the meaning of halal, that's why you need a certification. That's why you need the community to assess, to bring you that the true meaning of halal, because there are a lot of people who confuse it. But if everyone in one element bring out the meaning of halal, it doesn't need any more endorsement. They don't need any more regulation, because it is already your lifestyle to assess quality, that what we are talking about, right? So I know the Elvina's hand is still up there, and I know that she is probably desperate to ask a question, and I can only allow one question, regardless of to whom the question is to go to. So Elvina, can you open up yourself, and I give you the the rights to have a question right now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr.
Waalaikumsalam.
Faridah, as moderator. My question actually goes to, I'm from Indonesia, from Halal Inspection Body Muhammadiyah. So my question actually goes to Dr. Faridah. As we know, as Muslim, halal is our need, yeah. Even though this halal become universal, but for us Muslim, as the needs, and also we know the halal, the haram thing is zero tolerance for the halal food. The issue that I will ask this about the traceability, yeah. I mean, for me, that often involved with the micro food business operator, even the ultra micro, yeah. So to have the traceability, to have trace back of the material that they use, or to trace forward the product that they send, I think is still a big challenge, especially here in Indonesia. And then we now, this year, in this October, we will have the halal as mandate. Yeah, this we call this WHO, but not World Health Organization, but Wajib Halal October. Yeah, so I need your comment on this issue regarding the traceability. If you for the implementation in the micro enterprises. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Alvina, Ibu Alvina. Actually, traceability is meant for all. And of course, normally at the moment, especially in Malaysia, the big companies, the multinational companies and big companies are the ones who adopt it, because they acquire or they adopt the system, the application, like QR code and all that I mentioned to you earlier. In order to be able to indicate that code with the product that they are selling. Now, as far as the micro and in Malaysia, we call it small business, small and medium business companies, they should, in fact, start using it in a small scale. Traceability would be good, especially in countries like Indonesia, because we have so many islands, thousands of islands, and when there's a problem, an issue like the meat cartel that happened in Australia, and they trace it back, blaming to Malaysia, when it was not actually the cause is not from Malaysia, because the trading was by many parties, including our neighboring countries. So that's where this hoo-ha came in, and that's where they start blaming the original supplier or even manufacturer. And we do not want that to happen in any business, including small or micro business in Indonesia, because we want to start it right. But I like what Dr. NorSaidatul mentioned much earlier. It's all about lifestyle. It's all about the guideline that we have been brought up from young. And in doing business, we have to do it correctly from the very beginning. You know, if we have greed in our lifestyle, that would kill everything, you know, not only the product, but the image of the company, the image of the owner. And we can't afford that. Okay, the reason why I pick up on Dr. NorSaidatul's example on Japan, because I really admire their lifestyle. I mean, if you visit their country, you'll be surprised on how, you know, they emphasize on punctuality, on timing, on food preparation, not only before production, but even after production. How to decompose it, you know, like what Dr. Billy was mentioning just now on ESG, environmental concern. They even want any producers from another country, like for example, international marketing. For Indonesia, it will be tempeh, selling tempeh in Japan. Very expensive, okay? But if the tempeh goes wrong, they'll try to track down which company in Indonesia, even though it's a micro company, what is the cause of it, you know, and why is it not safe to consume, and it is not secure and sustainable in future to do business in Japan. So we do not want that to happen. Even though we are a small company, Ibu Elvina, it affects our name, the name of our country. We cannot afford that to happen. Our product is representing our country. So I'm so happy to hear Indonesia. You're going to start this sometime in August or
October.
September? October, right?
So
And,
that's why I mentioned this WHO, but not
Wajib
World
Halal?
Health Organization, Wajib Halal October.
Very
Yeah.
good, very good. Yeah. You
Yeah,
are
but
starting it correct, okay? But you need to get all those companies who are really professing in halal to really you know, internalize it and implement it. I'm sorry to
yeah,
say this, Ibu Elvina, because when I visit Indonesia, it may be true in Jakarta or in the cities, but when I visit the restaurants and I realize they don't even have the certificate. They are very popular, you know, very good restaurant, very popular, but they don't really, and they question me back. They said, look, all the Muslims are here. They're eating over here. You know that's not a reason to go to that store
yeah.
because, but you know, majority are Muslims who dine or fine over there. But if you are talking about, there must be like what Dr. Billy mentioned. The certification really matters because it is not a matter of award, but it's a matter of trust and also you know, obligation on the seller to the buyer, that when we have this halal certification, it is something that we promise you that we are doing it correctly in terms of auditing process of the whole supply chain. So if I am the marketer, Ibu Irvina, I would be the testimony as a marketer on the seller side. I'll be the testimony. If the product is halal, then if I use it first, if something is wrong with it, I will take the risk. So I will give that guarantee of halal certification to all consumers after I have gone through that process. That's the promise that I made to my consumers.
Okay,
Thank you.
So all
Thank you
the
so much,
best,
ma'am.
Ibu Irina. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in Indonesia, especially, you know, restoran Padang.
Yeah.
Padang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when this is also a big challenge for us, when they said, okay, you want to certificate to do certificate, they said, why? We are Muslim. We produce the halal. Why do we need to certify? So I think it's different with the certification, with the there are two different things between certification and also with the halal product assurance, with the halal culture. So for me, for the certification, we have to follow the rule. However, there is no difference. There is no double standard. But for the halal product assurance, so this must be implemented by the producer, of course. Yeah. So this is still big challenge here, even though we will face this Wajib Halal October in this year, October. But unfortunately, still have many companies, especially micro, small, not
Right.
micro, small, but micro and ultra micro
Yeah.
food business operators still have no halal cert. This is the
Okay.
problem. This
Okay,
is
I
our
can answer you that question, Arina. Allow me a few more minutes, Dr. No, because this is very important as a closure. Halal is a voluntary to be in a halal business is a voluntary commitment. It is not compulsory, but it is compulsory for consumers, Muslim consumers, to consume halal product. Okay. In Malaysia, we have states. Okay, Dr. No can explain later to you. We have 2 or 4 states or 5 states in Malaysia which have Muslim majority. Kedah, Perlis, Kelantan, Terengganu, and Johor. All right. And in Kelantan and Terengganu, they question, it's just like Aceh in Indonesia. They will question, why do we need this halal certification assurance? Because all of us are Muslims over here. But they forgot that Ibu Irina, it's not about the preparation. It's the raw material that they get the supply from. Are they all halal certified? You know, did they go to the process? Where did they buy the product? We need to trace that to the very origin. Okay, that's one example. Similarly, as in Indonesia, the second example, which is even more ironic and I would consider it's radical. I used to do a research in Saudi Arabia on awareness of halal. And they told us, you don't bring your halal from Malaysia to Saudi, because if you do, even though we know that it's good, you are going if we put your logo in our store, it is like saying that all other products are non-halal. Okay, they fear that. And they only realize it when they send the students to study postgraduate in Malaysia, just like the researchers that I had just now, okay, in my paper. So the students, when the first time they came to Malaysia, the Saudi students, when they first came to Malaysia, they thought that Malaysia, everything is halal, until they realized some of it are fake halal, available. And then only they acquire and they learn what it takes to be in a halal certification and why is it important. And then they came back telling us, I think we have to go back and tell our authorities that we cannot rely at the Al-Jabar, what do you call that, port authority to claim all food imported are halal, and we take it for we assume that it is 100% halal when it is not, because you need to do that traceability. And I'm sure in Iraq, Dr. Zeiad, it's the same, because people assume if you come from a Muslim country, whether it's from Pakistan or many other countries, everything is halal. When I go to Indonesia, I look at Polynesian people, Melayu, I would assume, oh, everything is halal. Until I went to Bali, I was being informed by those people over there, Ibu, hati-hati ya, bakso ini tidak halal. And I went like, it's okay, I don't take bakso, but my kids do. So, back in Malaysia, we are very particular about that. You can ask Dr. Billy. We are very concerned about it. So we don't play or joke around with this, because you can be out of business within 24 hours. People boycott, people don't buy your product. Within 1 week, some of the owners would like to commit suicide because the bill they got to pay for the production, cost of production, but business is standstill. They had to change name, they had to change into a new business. So the way you educate Indonesians who are new to this, give them that understanding that yes, it is halal, but only in the preparation. But what about the source of supply that you get for your production in your restaurant? So with that, I think they would understand better, but it takes time. I don't mind doing another research with you, Dr. Ibu Irina, because we did over here in Malaysia, the understanding of halal between Muslim and non-Muslim. For the Muslim, to them it is a must, compulsory. But for the non-Muslim, they take it as a very good quality standard to be practiced, and they don't mind consuming it. And I'm sure Dr. Billy has been consuming a lot of halal food from ages in Malaysia.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Yes.
I know there is a continuity of discussion. I know
Right.
this, but there is always a limit to our panel discussion. Okay,
Yeah, I'm done,
I'm
Dr.
sorry
Noor.
to
Thank
cut
you.
short because
Yeah.
I know that everybody is excited with this topic. This topic is a never-ending story. But bear in mind, I want to take note, right? Now we are not just talking about 3P, not product process profit anymore. Even
Yeah.
though you have your halal certification, that doesn't mean that you can make money anymore. Why? Because the economy right now is not about product process profit. It is
Yeah.
product process people, planet, prosperity, because there is an element of sustainability. Now, the globalization, the global trade are talking about ESG reporting, carbon footprint. If we are still discussing about halal on the halal process and trying to talk about the trustworthiness, about the integrity of the halal process, must remember people are now moving ahead. Yep. And if halal cannot able to catch up with what the global demand when it comes to carbon footprint, when come talking about the ESG reporting. So let's not make halal dampened by what we say as we are always late in understanding the globalization issue that we are trying to address is just not one issue. Halal may be one for a certain community who doesn't understand, but majority of people understood halal. But we are not talking about just halal itself. We are talking about sustainability. We're talking about the global warming. We're talking about the impact of what we believe as the SDG that need to have all the elements of social equality. All these must be integrated in the halal community also, not just by the exercise of looking at only for the main concern of for those who don't know. I'm sure the 80-20 rule handled the 80% of the community who understood halal. If you try to bring your effort into that 20%, you will waste a lot of your time trying to educate them when they are still very, very, what I call too low in terms of economy of scale for you to focus on that. All right. So I hope Dr. Alvina, Dr. Faridah, Dr. Billy, Dr. Zeiad, all right? Every one of you and Dr. Dorisami who has been here, Dato, I'm so sorry I'm not able to open up questions to anyone else because every speaker here are so good. They are so great. They are so wonderful. I cannot, I don't want to stop them, but as I say, as a role of moderator, I have to have my own limits to ensure that we all do our justice for this 5th International Halal Conference, and I hope everyone enjoyed. We can keep continuing about this discussion in another platform because I believe you all are great leaders and we can do many more. This is just the beginning of what we want to transform, the halal, sustainability, and humanity. So with that, once again, I thank Brother Noor from the organizer for allowing me to become the MC and also the moderator. And I hope everyone out there is going to listen to our panel discussion and also to all the presenters. I wish you all the best of luck. Please contact the organizer and the speakers if you feel you want to go for more deeper understanding. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and selamat berbuka puasa to all. All right, take care. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Selamat Hari Raya Mak Zahid Batin tu.
Sama-sama.
Mubarak to all.
Sama-sama. Thank you so much.
I hope I answered your question, Dr. Avina.
Yeah, inshallah we can continue this discussion.
Please do. Yeah, keep in touch. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Prof. Faridah, I promise you, come to our farm. We have acclimatized wasabi to grow in Malaysia.
Wow.
Yeah, wasabi. Thank
Anyway,
you.
congratulations to your great job. Really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you for the right kind of help. Yeah.
A lot to learn from you, especially positive on your positiveness in a lot of things.
Thank
Yes, we all should get together after Ramadan and learn
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
All right.
Inshallah,
Dr. Zeiad,
inshallah.
when are you coming back here to Malaysia? Balik kampung?
Actually, maybe in June. I have been in Malaysia 11 years.
I know, but you kena balik kampung also. Come back whenever you're free. We go for a
Inshallah.
cuppa, coffee.
Inshallah. When I arrive, I will contact you, Prof. Inshallah.
Yeah,
And
okay then.
inshallah.
Right. Okay then. So see you all
Assalamualaikum.
again, Dr. Billy,
Yeah,
Dr.
everyone.
Evina,
Bye. Take
Dr.
care.
Zeiad. Yeah,
Thank
have a good
you.
holiday.
Yeah.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat
Yeah.
Hari Raya,
And
Merdeka
also
Batin.
Prof. Datuk, Dr. GP.
Yes.
Okay then. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Kayaknya dah Caesar sampai dah.